public cloud provider essentially needs to provide in order to support certain software as a service or infrastructure as a service or a database as a service, whatever service they want to provide through the internet. They need to provide certain different kinds of networking facilities to their customers or clients. Now going ahead, we talked about all other services, but a very important service is compute service. Compute means computational service. I want to crunch data. Computer's purpose is to crunch data, to solve problems, to do simulations, to do generate different large language model, number crunching should be done. So all those kind of computational tasks for which also I require infrastructure, that comes under module number 6. What are the different ways in which AWS services are providing compute related resources? Now storage is like file storage, block storage, blob storage, then database related services like databases, then data lakes, then data warehouses, patterns like data warehouses, patterns like archival data, storage of archival data, replication of data. So all those kind of concepts you would be able to understand their practical use cases when you learn about module number 8, that is the data related to databases. Okay, now the final thing is cloud architecture. So how exactly if you want to build a solution specifically to be deployed on a cloud based infrastructure, specifically public cloud infrastructure, how you architect your solution, that is what cloud architecture is going to tell you about. So cloud architecture is a kind of theoretical concept collection which actually tells you lays down certain ideas that will add to you as a software designer who would think about cloud first while designing their solution, rather than thinking about my laptop implementation first and then I'll deploy it on the cloud. So my design itself need to be thought of from the point of view of being implemented in cloud, and then from there my implementation will always be very much in sync with the cloud services that are available. So that is what you learn in module number 9. Finally, the module number 10 talks about auto scaling and monitoring. Auto scaling and monitoring is the topic which provides the resilience to cloud services. We see very less often that whenever there is large number of people connected to a Hotstar like service or Jio Hotstar that is like service or Netflix like service, these services very seldomly go down. Even if they go down, they recover very quickly, efficiently. Within no time you get those services back online. In a year or so, you only once or twice see that these content management services, they are offline. But if you compare this to the 12th board results or your university results or your university website, who are hosted on specifically the on-premises servers, you get to see that these are pretty much down when they're required to be up, when there are a lot of eyeballs getting to these websites. Eyeballs getting to these websites means people are accessing the website. That is what I mean by that, if you are not aware of what I mean. Okay, 34, so I have 9 minutes. After all these modules are done, so in these modules there are certain labs I told you. So let me brief you about how to access the labs. I'm just taking it outside. So module number 1, there is no lab. Module number 2 also, there is no lab as such. Is it there? No, there is no lab in module number 2. Module number 3, global infrastructure, again there is no lab. Module number 4, yes, there is a lab over here. So I'm going to go to this lab exercise. So there are 100 points for this lab once I complete the lab. And please remember that whenever you are doing this lab, you have already covered module number 1, 2, 3, 4, and you are coming over here. At this moment, I'm just showing you how to access the lab. So to access the lab, click on this link. Somebody is trying to get in, or are they in already? Yeah. So you just need to click on that lab. I've clicked it. You'll get to see this particular interface. It says that from this course, this assignment, this lab and under this lab I am right now. There is no due date for the lab, there is no restriction in this course when to complete a particular bit. Total 100 points you can earn by completing the lab. You just need to click on load lab 1 introduction to AWS IAM in new window. So remember that whenever you are clicking on this, there will be a pop-up that is going to happen because it is going to open this window in the next tab. तो वो अगर आपका पॉपअप ब्लॉकर ऑन है आपके ब्राउज़र का तो उसको आपको ऑफ करना पड़ेगा व्हेन यू आर एक्सेसिंग द लैब. दैट्स अ थिंग दैट student miss out. They click and nothing happens. Okay, so I clicked on this tab and I went to this tab. This I was able to do because my browser had no block for pop-ups. Okay, so if you have on your pop-up blocker, your browser has by default pop-up blocking enabled. Make sure to disable it for this site so that you can have this site create a pop-up and open the lab in the other window. Now all these labs are provided by a third party service provider called as Vocarum. Okay, please understand this is a third party provider. That's why they ask you to go through these terms and service, and when you are first time logging in also they have to ask you to go through these terms and service. Don't worry for clicking I agree without reading. There is nothing, they are not stealing anything from you. They are providing everything for free, plus they are giving you $50 credit for doing all these exercises on their infrastructure. So what I did, I clicked on the modules lab link. It opened me this. Once I clicked on this button, I went to over here and this is my lab infrastructure. So on this left hand side there is AWS written and there is a red colored light that indicates that currently my AWS access is not on. Okay, on this line right hand side where my cursor is, there is a link to start the lab, there is a link to end the lab, there is a link for seeing the AWS login credentials, which are temporary credential provided for performing the lab, and then the details of the lab. So there are 4 icons here, 4 links here: start lab, end lab, details for the account, and general details about the lab. The lab is available in different languages but not in Indic languages. You can use English US, that's better. And then if you go to the content, generally the lab has certain set of instructions written like this. The lab is divided into tasks and tasks are partially marked. So if the lab is 100 marks, every task will have certain marks, and they give you precise instructions that you need to follow on your AWS account, which is a temporary AWS account that gets set up when I click on the start lab, and I need to go through these contents. So there are 3 tasks, 4 tasks. It looks very large, but it can be completed within 2 hours. Please understand that fact. Labs are generally run for maximum 2 hours simultaneously. If you run through 2 hours, the lab will be closed and you need to restart the lab. Infrastructure that you create remains persistent. That is, after even you have completed the stopped the lab, infrastructure remains there. It doesn't get wiped out. But your account access is prohibited after 2 hours. That is the restriction, I guess. Okay. You need to start the lab, you need to click on start lab. Once you click on start lab, it will take 2-3 minutes for this light to first turn amber and then to turn green. Once the light turns green, this AWS console link will be activated, and as you click on it, your AWS access will start. See, 2 hours time has come over here. So this is a countdown timer which starts from 2 hours and runs down till the time goes off. If I click on AWS details, it will show you the access details of your account. It's still not on, so that's why it is not showing me the details, but it has popped up and it has started showing me the content over here. I have to close this pane. I click on this and the pane will be closed. I can always use slider for sliding in and increase the font size by using Control+, Control-, usually how you change the size of font.